Good evening, and welcome to the Nightcap with Caps. Over the past few decades or so, there's been a noticeable change in the barbering community. Once upon a time, the barbershop was considered the headquarters of each neighborhood. Barbershops were gathering grounds where men would fellowship and escape the stress of everyday life. The barbershop had more of a fraternity, or Elks Club, or VFW kind of feel. Fred Flintstone had the Loyal Order of the Water Buffalo. Al Bundy had the No Ma'am Club. But every man remained loyal to his local barbershop. Traditional barbershops have been replaced by fast-paced franchise shops, which most of the times lacks the genuine, warm, and welcoming environment. Large corporations have begun to turn the barbershop experience into a quantitative measure of how many people can I get in and out of this chair in the shortest amount of time. In the age of social media, conversations, interactions, and social engagement have become just as endangered as seeing kids riding bicycles or playing ball at the park, or the majestic Bengal tiger. The barbershop was a rite of passage into manhood for the sons and grandsons of the men that would hang around that shop. The young boys would always want to join the adult conversations about sports, business, local gossip, politics, and everything else we only talk about with other men. Once the youngins finally got a chance to chime in, it was a graduation of sorts into manhood. Well, here at the Nightcap, we're using it as a platform to revisit that barbershop culture. We'll talk about everything under the sun, including topics ranging from sports, to music, to food, business, and anything else we can talk about here at Caps. Each show will introduce special guests from local businesses, sports teams, bands, events, and much more. Not only will we have some great guests, but in staying true to the name Nightcap, each episode will be sampling products from local breweries and distilleries as we engage in friendly discussion, just like right now. Oh, and boy, is that good. We can't solve all the problems in the world, but we can at least get back to talking. Some of the best solutions, and quite frankly, some of the dumbest, were born here in the barbershop. Some of the best laughs were in the barbershop. And some of the most intense conversations were here in the barbershop. Well, we're gonna get back to getting that conversation going here at Capulera's Barber Salon. I'm Cornelius Peterson, and thank you for tuning in and watching the Nightcap with Caps. Cheers.
The following program contains adult language, as well as baby talk.
Viewer discretion advised.
It's the Nightcap Barbershop Talk with a Twist, with your hosts, the Beauty Angel, the Barber Trust, and the brains behind this whole operation, Gus. Tonight they welcome Ryan England, owner of Whitestone Brewery, Victor Olvera, co-owner of Zodiac Cigar Lounge and House of Games. Tonight's drink special is the Keyboard Gangsta, a West Coast hazy IPA. Our food sampling is brought to you by Kyle Riggin, owner of K-Rig. And now, it's your Nightcap Barbershop Talk with a Twist crew!
Hi, I'm Angel Maxwell, the owner of Smooth Village and Smooth Hair and Wax Studio in Leander, Texas. I am joined tonight with my co-host Trust and Gus.
What's going
Trust
on?
and Gus are the Gus.
Keep
Trust
going.
and Gus are the owners of Capulera's Barbershop in Leander, Texas. On tonight's episode, we have to my left Ryan England and to my right Victor Olvera. right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
You're right. Yes, ma'am.
Victor is the co-owner of House of Gains and Zodiac's Cigar Lounge.
Yes, ma'am.
And Ryan is the owner of Whitestone Brewery in Cedar Park, Texas.
Correct.
And Victor is in Georgetown, Texas. Correct?
Texas. Yes, ma'am.
All right. So tell us a little bit about your journey with House of Gains and the Cigar Lounge.
So, House of Gains, like you said, is in Georgetown. We took over the old Albertsons building in Georgetown, so it's right off of Williams and Austin Avenue. That plaza, that same plaza, we have the House of Gains and Zodiac's in there. So it's a 30,000 square foot gym. Have everything you can think of: powerlifting, strongman, cardio equipment, sauna. I mean, basically everything that you could think of. If we don't have it, we'll get it. And then Zodiac's, the concept kind of started with one of our partners, Lloyd Jackson. So what we did with that is, we wanted to, with every business that we do, we want to bring something unique, something different. And so besides just having a regular humidor, we wanted to elaborate more on the concept of hanging out and kind of just making the whole culture more invigorating for people that aren't cigar smokers, because trends change, things change. So we did that, and so we have the lounge part that's basically behind it's a hidden door. It's cigar boxes on a what looks like a cabinet, and you open the door and it opens up into the lounge. So we have a public section and a private section on the back hand side.
Cool.
So, yes,
That's
ma'am.
awesome. All right. So tell us a little bit about Whitestone Brewery.
Yeah, so Whitestone Brewery was started it in 2016, so we just turned 3 years old. We are a thank you. We're a tap room, so we're actually a fairly large tap room and brew all of our own beers on site. Beer garden, family friendly, pet friendly. But in addition to that, we self-distribute our product to about 150 retail accounts around the Austin and San Antonio area. Private event space, so we've really built it kind of from the inside out to be sort of a twist between a pub and a modern day craft brewery. So
Awesome.
all of our equipment, tanks are on display, so we tried to put a lot of thought into the tap room and environment aspect of it.
Very cool. Well, thank you guys so much for being the first guest on Nightcaps.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
We will
Absolutely.
definitely do our part to support your businesses and get the word out.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
Nice. So anything else you guys want to add to their businesses?
Well, I know Ryan does a lot with the community. I see him at almost all events that Leander Cedar Park has, so he's always out there tapped in. And I met these guys with Zodiac and the House of Gains, and they've been like spot on with the business acumen and idea or ideology that we have here at Capp. So great guys to have for our very first show. Great
Appreciate
guys.
that.
Yeah.
Got anything for us, Trust?
I just want to know how to get a membership so I can smoke some cigars.
So we do day pass. We do day passes, we do month passes, 6 month passes, 12 months. Kind of what I tell a lot of people too is we have punch cards, which life's busy. So if you're not in the area at all times, you can just drop by. We'll punch off one, and you get in there. You can bring a guest with you, 5 guests, 10 guests, however many you want. So yeah.
So if I just wanted to just move in and just live there, is it possible?
We got an upstairs, so if you want to, we'll just have to charge you rent. So yeah.
Don't mind the rent.
about
That's okay
it.
for it. I'm good.
We'll have commercial prices though, so it won't be residential prices. Yeah.
Need a roommate.
Nice.
I'm
That's
down.
good. I can sweep it out. Smoke while I'm doing it.
Yeah.
There you go.
We got some dishes need to be washed too. So yeah.
Hear that, Gus?
Yes, sir.
I hear it. Hey, quick question, Ryan. Do you y'all have a signature drink that y'all?
Yeah, the beers that we do are kind of what I consider a rainbow of beer. So we have everything from a light Kolsch to a bourbon barrel aged porter. Signature is probably going to be it's called our Long Gone Blonde. So it's actually a blonde ale. It's kind of a universal beer. So the folks that maybe drank the Bud Miller Coors, and also the folks that are maybe into craft beer, they'll kind of go to that as their safe drink. So
Good deal. Covering all ends, huh?
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
Good stuff.
Nice. This first topic that we're going to discuss has everything to do with all of us. So we're all local business owners, small business owners. So our first question of the night is, what causes startups in the area to fail?
That's a good question.
Go ahead and take the floor, Ryan.
Somebody.
Yeah, I can jump right in. Heck, I've failed 20 times in my head, so I'm pretty practiced at it.
I'm good at this, huh?
Yeah. Fortunately, I still have a business. I don't know. No, in all seriousness, I think a business can fail at several phases, right? Because you have, obviously planning phase is a lot. For me as a craft brewery owner, I had to go through, it's capitally intensive business. So you got to go through your raising capital and, however that mixture is. For me, I had to go through banks and investors. So there's challenges in that in itself. You can raise it right, you can raise it wrong, you can, not raise enough. So you could be out of business before you start. I think for me, the biggest challenges have just been, the better of the two problems in terms of we've been growing so fast that it's a matter of keeping up with it. Craft beer is it's a saturated marketplace, so you want to stay on top of the people out there. Pretty disloyal demographic, so you want to keep them interested. And so for us, it's really a matter of just making sure we make the right moves. When we make mistakes, we learn from them. But yeah, really just keeping an interesting product and keeping the consumers at least coming back and not disappointed with what you're putting out.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I agree.
I think
Go ahead.
What do you
No, you go ahead.
I was gonna say one aspect of it, is for sure. I think work ethic has a lot to do with it. For instance, yesterday was Easter Sunday, and we were open, both shops, and so I know that a lot of other people were closed, and that's something we do take in consideration. We close early for Christmas, things like that. We understand the family dynamic, but on the note that he was saying, a lot of it too is the social media outlets, and the disloyalty to that. There's so much out there, so much context, so much, presentation on different levels that you have to always have something to keep that all aspect, because people do go and say hypothetically for the gym, the goal is to look good. Some people do it for mental aspects, physical aspects, but once you do it so much, it's just like that dreaded, I gotta go to the gym, and we do have hardcore, members that are loyal to that to a fault, but the ones that, we're worried about are the ones that'll jump, quick to one of these corporate, gyms, that it's this whole fast fix, diet pills, you just drink water and you're gonna lose. There's more to it. So keeping that aspect of intriguing them of why, what the whole responsibility for them and for us, so it kind of has to correlate all together. So I think that's the loyalty aspect is a huge thing. So yeah, for sure.
True.
Yeah, I was just going to add in like the strategic planning. I mean, a lot of people, they have these great ideas and really don't know how to execute them properly, and they think just because they love it, it's gonna succeed, which is false. I mean, it has to make sense for not only you, but for the people that you're selling that product to, right? If they don't understand exactly where you're coming from, or at least where you want them to, understand about the business, then things get messed up and it's a disconnect. So,
Yeah, that's a great point because take mine for instance. Our best-selling beer is one I don't like. So
exactly.
Take that.
It's not about you, Ryan.
I know. For a while, I thought it was.
No, it's not.
Yeah, you got to put your mind in your mind in the mind of the consumer.
Absolutely.
Stay fresh. Yeah.
I think being positive with your clientele too, because reviews can kill anybody.
Oh yeah.
Bad reviews. All it takes, just a
That's
bad
it.
review.
Don't let them get to you.
Yeah,
I learned
for
that in year
sure.
one.
Man.
And that's the other side of the coin too, is a review, and that's the thing, they can just jump online and Facebook. And,
Everybody's
and it's,
stronger behind that keyboard.
exactly, and it's different aspect of business that entrepreneurs beforehand didn't have to worry about stuff like that.
That's
So,
right.
so that dynamic's changed too,
Absolutely.
Yeah, you got to take social media. It's got to come with the good with the bad, right? I mean, it's great for you can't think of any cheaper advertising in terms of Facebook, but then you got Yelp and Google and
Well, Yelp found a way to put all your bad reviews up and don't recommend other ones.
Now you gotta pay to take them down.
That's a business, but I get it.
Yeah, that is.
You just
So-
got to remember that the customer is always opinionated.
That's right.
Not right.
That's what you have to remember. And it's how you respond to the opinions
Absolutely.
that helps you, will make you or break you. So
That's right.
Yep.
That's
Absolutely.
right. So, what do you guys think that has made businesses like the Domain so successful? Are these, big chains and?
it's a
Planning.
destination spot.
Yeah.
For one thing.
It's strategic. It was strategically mapped out. Like it's a hub. Like you live, sleep, eat, play.
Yeah.
All of your TLD
Everything in
type
one spot.
areas.
yeah.
It's all in one area, and then you have one problem that you face with like small areas like Leander is the daytime traffic. But if you got people living there, working there, going to eat there, I mean, you pretty much, making your own money right there.
So are you saying that gas prices help that place to be
Hey,
successful?
sounds good.
Because all you got to do is walk right there.
That's it. Yeah.
1 minute from
Or
each
get
place.
one of the scooters that Austin is so popular for now. Yeah.
So I think the domain is very popular, and I think it has become a big thing because of the youth, because they are into not commuting, they're into working and living in the same place.
Yeah.
And shopping and mingling and everything in the same place.
So
which is genius.
one thing that I hear about the domain, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good.
Cut her off.
Is
Yeah, I'm done.
no, is the fact that the options that were there before have changed. Like, a huge domain. How I got introduced to the domain was nightlife.
Right.
And so it's a safe. That's the big word, safe. And with consumers, they have to be safe. They have to feel comfortable. Versus the other option, which is 6th Street. 6th Street, I was down there South by Southwest, and
Little sketchy.
unfortunately saw someone get shot right in front of me.
Yeah.
So when you look at those two dynamics, I'm trying to go out and have fun. I don't want to go out and have problems.
Right.
Trying to make it back home.
Exactly.
Yeah, back
for
when
sure.
I was a kid, it wasn't like that too. So I mean, that's where we hung out with 6th Street.
1979 is a long
Not
time
anymore.
ago.
It was. I know. I'm telling
messing
you,
with
not
you, I'm messing with
anymore.
you.
There was a different time back then.
Yeah. No, it was for
But
sure.
I grew up in Austin. This is where I've lived my whole life, and so it's definitely not the same place it was.
See, and for me, I grew up in Temple, and so a destination for us was always downtown. It was a cool thing to do. That's changed though. Now it's the domain,
Yeah.
because like you said, hotels right there. Not that downtown doesn't have that, but it's just more convenient. It's closer. There's different avenues of getting out that you don't have to worry about the traffic aspect so much.
It's compact.
So, yeah, exactly. So yeah.
Yeah, it's also a product of growth, right? I mean, it's options, convenience, and then a product of growth. And I think domain has become a buzzword around here, right? We have these things that actually we kind of label them as domain, but you got to remember the domain we have is 750 acres, and we have all these smaller outdoor retail projects going in. But if you want options, I mean, you can go there, and to your point, Gus, it's you want to do a yoga class, then go shopping, and then go get a beer. You can do it.
Yep.
All in one day.
Yeah.
Or afternoon.
That sounds about a regular day.
Yeah.
Night beer.
That's my day. Stop on those yoga pants.
So what type of activity or business do you think should be brought to future domain-like locations?
A brewery, obviously.
Oh,
I was gonna say cigar lounge.
Yeah.
Oh, look at
Hey,
that.
another partnership, man. There's a brain trust in here.
I think some kind of like I don't know, maybe like a water park might be too extreme.
How about like an Airstream Village?
There we go. Everybody plugging.
Yeah.
in.
Say plug.
Maybe a farmer's market?
What type of what a domain has a bowling alley?
Punchbowl.
What are they missing from there?
They pretty much have it all.
They
in
got to
Skydiving.
cover. They got to put. Huh?
Skydiving.
Skydiving.
Yeah, they got
don't
to
have
put.
low pack.
What is it?
Land on
iFly.
iFly.
Put like an
Yeah.
iFly.
Yeah.
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 That wouldn't be
The
bad
Schlitterbahn
idea.
right in the middle.
Yeah,
Lazy
aquarium, something,
river.
something
Put around the edges. Hey.
Hey,
You never
that
know.
May happen.
I mean,
They may
in
happen.
reality, I think we're going to find that out. We have so many of those projects going in. With
Exactly.
Indigo Ridge and Round Rock has one, Leander has one. I mean, there's so many of these outdoor retail. I think we're going to see actually that evolve.
Yeah, I
We'll
think
find
that
out.
Leander is definitely going to explode pretty quick. So
Oh yeah.
We
yeah,
get-
it's coming. It's coming.
Georgetown's already taken that.
Oh, it's
Explosion,
It's crazy.
so,
It's
yeah.
crazy.
Well, I mean, if you look at what, like the Indigo Ridge project where they're bringing in the USTA and you're going to have a massive tennis courts. And so they're trying to bring in state championship tennis into the city.
Yeah.
And then you have out in Hutto, they just announced a huge project to where they're bringing in, I didn't even know about it. It's, I can't remember the name right now, but it's a ton of baseball fields. And
Yeah,
they're
they
bringing in-
already
Oh,
broke
okay.
ground and started building
Yeah.
that up, right?
Yeah. So,
Okay.
I mean, you're already seeing this creativity in
Pro
that.
leagues and
Yeah, so sports are
coming in.
starting to come in.
Or semi-pro.
Another aspect of domain, I guess we didn't really touch on. We were looking at more of shopping, entertainment. Is the real estate aspect of things,
Right.
because you have to understand that as Georgetown grows, as Austin grows, as all these other small towns grow, taxes are coming up, and that's a huge increase. Watching the news, and there's a lady in Salado who her property taxes, her house was at $250,000, and when they redid them, she was at
Couldn't afford
$400,000.
it.
Paying taxes on that much, I don't think people understand it. If you break that down, and I know it more so because when I deal with disabled veterans, they don't have to pay any taxes. They can afford $300,000 homes, $350,000 homes, $400,000 homes, where as the normal person, you're paying, you break that tax bracket, you're $10,000, over 12 months. I mean, that's a pretty good jump on a monthly payment. So as far as the domain, I don't know exactly what they charge for rooms or, even to have a lease there or a condo, but I mean, it's one of those things that it's a different avenue too, so people take that in consideration. Instead of spending all this other money on commuting and all these other things, I'm just gonna stay here. So
right,
so,
cut out the insurance and the gas.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think the one thing that we all hope for, no matter what community you live in, is that our city council and the people responsible are going to do the right things in terms of infrastructure. Because I mean, you can't catch up to growth. I mean, we've seen so many cities across America do it, and it's always us that are the victims of whether it be bad traffic or we already have that in Austin. So that's the one thing that I hope is just a resident of Leander is that we stay ahead of that aspect and don't
forecasting.
Yes.
Understanding what's to come and take the preventative measurement. Forecasting. Yeah.
Okay, so let's move on to the second question of the evening, and that is, what is it that makes people so for or against our president today, President Trump, and why is there no gray area? Dun dun dun.
45th.
Who wants to start?
Bringing in politics right away. All right.
I'll say this: my mentor has taught me never to mix politics and religion with business. So,
Agreed.
Yeah,
good advice.
Agreed.
Yeah,
that's the gray area that we're referring to.
I could take the mic for a minute.
Okay.
I think more so, it's become like if you revert back to childhood, like and you just didn't have the mental capacity to say I disagree with you and be okay with it. We've gotten to that point. Like, you don't have to like the guy. If anybody likes him and I dislike him, we can still sit and talk about it. I mean, you explain your points to me, and if they make sense to me, then okay. I get where you're coming from. But now it's like so far left, so far right. Yeah. Nobody can even sit and have a conversation. I think that's the bigger topic.
I agree.
And agree to disagree.
Yeah, that's what it used to be, right? I mean, that was the way that I grew up is your debates were conversations and they were fun. We still liked each other at the end of the day, and now our emotional intelligence as a country is just all over the place, right?
Yes. Yeah,
but, I mean,
it divides families.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of hate out there right now, and it's almost sad to watch, right? Because we can't. Again, that emotional intelligence is just lowered as a country. But Trump as a person, I think it's kind of obvious, right? I don't think we've ever had a president in history to where it's a love or hate, right? And there's we all
clear
know
line drawing.
There's people that say get off Twitter, which we've never had a president that tweeted before, and so. He doesn't have anybody checking grammatical errors or anything like that. So
he's real.
He's real.
And one thing he does. One thing that I would say about that, and it's a conversation I had with someone, is that I think that a lot of people dislike him because he's very honest and blunt about his response, his tactics, and how things are handled. Now, if he didn't have all this other riffraff going on with everything else that he's involved in, then I think it'd be a little more clear. But because of that, it's one of those things. So. I mean, I can respect the honesty, and it goes back to the emotional intelligence, Sadly, nowadays, intelligence is kind of seen as a weakness, It's more off of reaction and what you can do to hurt someone else, whereas you should be able to sit down and talk to someone and, understand. And with politics, I think a lot of it is essentially favored on what we like. If it benefits me, then I'm all for it. But if it's not for me, then I don't care.
Damn it, yeah.
So that's another aspect of it, and that's just not with politics. That's with everything,
Yeah. And one of the things that I always like to say is, everybody likes to think of the fight from the shoulders down, but it's from the neck up.
Yeah.
You got to fight up top. It's strategic with everything. Life is about chess. Business, everything that applies in life aligns with chess movement.
Well, it's unfortunate, right? Because I think, to your point, a lot of the way that we're approaching things, a lot of what we want to fix, I think holistically as a country, we're actually going to go backwards before we go forwards, right? We become a country that's labeling, right? You're either Republican, Democrat, right? There's no in between. There's no. It's just, and it's become very judgmental in terms of people want to look at you and say you're either for it or against it, and it's really charged, right? And
it is.
And that's where that conversation is taken away right away, right? You're disarmed.
But I think it goes a lot back to being behind that computer screen or behind your keyboard or behind your phone. You have that
I gotta plug for that later on.
that illusion of safety that you don't have to actually stand up and confront your person you're speaking to. You can just kind of.
That's because it's not a dialogue. It's not a back. You can't get outsmarted when you can sit and think about what I'm gonna write.
Yeah.
You know, if you can't go back and forth like right then and there, then don't even have the conversation.
Hold on, I gotta fact check that real quick.
Right.
No.
Let me Google this.
That's right. Let me Google it. Yeah. Well,
You got fake news, man. What are you gonna
right,
do?
That's right. Yep. Well, that is it for our questions for now. And when we come back, we will have some closing statements and we'll wrap it up. So thank you so much for everybody coming and being a part of our first Nite Capp. And we really appreciate you guys sitting in with us.
Thank you.
All right. Appreciate you guys coming.
Hi, welcome back to our food portion of the Nite Capp Barbershop Talk with a Twist. Here we have Kyle from K-Rig Pressure Smoker. How you doing, Kyle?
Good. How you doing?
I'm great. So tell us about this invention that you had.
Okay. It's a pressure smoker that basically cuts the time down on cooking and smoking meat from several hours, like 10 or 12 hours for brisket, to 2.5 hours for a 15-pound brisket.
So it cuts down the playing time with your meat from 12 hours to 2 hours.
Right.
That's
So ribs,
awesome.
chicken, 30 minutes, and all the sides and everything I do are in the pressure smokers too. So
That's awesome.
It takes the smoke, takes the seasoning, and then basically pressurize it into the meat.
So it infuses it
Right.
into the meat, making it succulent.
Right.
Moist.
And the high pressure and the high temp, it makes it cut down the time too. So you get a better product, quicker time, and you don't have to wait around. And you can drink your beer and then still have something to eat later on that's edible.
So Whitestone Brewery's beer.
Yeah.
That sounds awesome.
You can actually serve your family, and they're not going to be eating something that tastes like a shoe.
Okay, sounds good. So what did you bring for us today?
We got some brisket, ribs, chicken, and then we got the mac and cheese, and then the green beans, all cooked in the pressure smoker.
Everything was cooked in the even
Yes,
the
sir.
sides?
Yep.
Oh, that's outstanding. So I have some brisket that I'm going to try. While I'm trying the brisket, why don't you tell them where they can find you at
Okay.
and how they can get some of this meat that we're about to try.
Okay. The food trailer that we have is so that people come out and taste what the actual product tastes like. That's out in Old Town Leander, Smooth Village. We serve lunch and then Friday and Saturday dinners. And then if you're interested in the actual smoker itself, it's on k-rig.com, and you can residential unit or more of a bigger 5K commercial unit.
So not only can they buy the smoked meat from you, but they can also buy the rig and cook it themselves.
Right.
How easy is it for someone to actually use the K-Rig?
If you can light a gas grill and start a lawnmower, that's all that's required for it.
Well, you heard it here first on the Nite Capp Barbershop Talk with a Twist. We have Kyle from K-Rig Pressure Smoker. We'll see you next week.
So welcome back, everyone. Now we have our food segment of the show, and thank you for joining us again. To Ryan and, sorry, what was your name? Victor. Victor. So we're back for our food segment with Kyle Riggin, K-Rig Pressure Smokers. He has the best barbecue in Leander, and we are all going to do a little sampling. Well, they're going to do the sampling of all of his great food. So today we've got, what do you have, Gus?
Got ribs.
Some pork ribs falling off the bone over there. You got pork ribs too, huh? You guys got brisket over there?
Brisket.
They've got brisket. And I have got just a nice little sample of
everything.
his everything. So this is his wings, chicken wings. We've got, what do we call them? Mac taters, I believe. Mac taters is what we just came up with for this. And his green beans. So you guys sample on, man. Don't let me hold you up.
I think we need to switch.
You want to go with some of this?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
There you go.
Okay.
Oh man, that's good.
Yeah.
Brisket is so good.
Don't mind the hands. This is how you do it in Texas.
Yeah. In Texas we eat with our hands, especially barbecue. It's good stuff, huh?
That is good.
Get you some of these mac taters.
Mac taters.
That's good.
I want to see you eat the mac taters with your hands.
Don't try me. Outstanding.
So
cheesy.
good. It's the
It ain't
cheesiest.
easy being this cheesy.
Trust is no longer the cheesiest.
No, I'm not. Kyle is. Thank you, Kyle.
Thank you, Kyle, for your cheesy mac taters. How are those chicken wings there, buddy?
They're very blonde.
We haven't even started on the beer.
Oh, okay.
And they said these were cooked in 45 minutes?
He does a whole brisket in 45 minutes.
Pay attention,
This is
Gus.
crazy.
Pay attention.
Yeah.
No, the ribs. Yeah, the ribs.
The ribs too, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. It's
Okay,
good.
trust, pay attention.
Pay attention, Trust.
Yeah, when it's food related.
So if you guys want to enjoy some of this amazing food,
This is my segment, people.
Y'all-
This is Trust's segment.
y'all can come
Man who
anytime
knows food.
to Smooth Village. K-Rig is permanent there, and he serves the best barbecue every single day. Sometimes he's open for dinner as well. He every Friday and Saturday night he is always open for dinner, and he also has Uber Eats that you can enjoy his food at
For us
home
lazy
if
folks.
you would like to just have someone else pick it up for you.
All right.
So we'll be back to clean our faces, and we will be back in a bit. Hey guys, thank you so much for joining us again tonight on our first episode of
The Nightcap Barbershop Talk with a Twist.
and
Yeah.
So we're off the cuff here. It's all live. It's super fun. And thank you so much, Victor, from Zodiac Cigar Lounge in Georgetown and House of Gaines Gym in Georgetown, Texas. You guys stop by and see him. Thank you, Victor. And thank you so much, Ryan from Whitestone Brewery, for joining us from Cedar Park, Texas. Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, enjoyed it.
I am your host, Angel, and again, my co-host, Trust and Gus. Thank you guys so much. Y'all have a wonderful night, and we'll catch you next week.
Please remember that the views and opinions expressed on this show do not reflect the businesses that each person represents. It's important that we can all engage in polite conversation with conflicting ideologies in the open dialogue of a traditional barbershop. We at Capilera's Barber Salon would like to thank you for joining us on this great adventure of humble discussion. Myself and our hosts sincerely look forward to meeting with you again next week on the Nightcap with Caps. Stay well groomed, my friends. Stay well groomed.